Hey there guys, this is Richard, your host, with another marvelous video. Hello and welcome back to another marvelous video. We're back to explore another legendary character from the world of Mortal Kombat, and today's character is Quan Chi. Quan Chi is one of the most powerful beings in the Netherrealm in the Mortal Kombat video games. He is an associate of the fallen elder god Shinnok and spends most of his time gathering artifacts and performing rituals to resurrect Shinnok or increase his power. This pursuit has led him into some lethal, if frequently fleeting, partnerships with other villains, such as Shang Tsung, and many interactions with both Sub-Zero and Scorpion. So, stick with us to learn about his story arc in both the current and original timelines, and in the non-canon versions as well. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. History of Quan Chi. Quan Chi is the most formidable wizard and necromancer in the Netherrealm and the main antagonist in the Mortal Kombat series. Quan Chi employs black magic and cunningness in his never-ending machinations to take over not only Earthrealm, but all of reality. In Mortal Kombat, Hell is called the Netherrealm, and of course, Earth is Earthrealm. Deceased souls or entities that have committed great crimes in the Mortal Kombat world fall into the Netherrealm to be tortured indefinitely. It was as though one could not enter the Netherrealm without being evil or having a corrupted soul in the original timeline. Magic users and magical entities are also gradually diminished while in this domain. It is a more general moniker for the Abrahamic notion of hell, as Lucifer was one of its past rulers who is mentioned only in the Sub-Zero game manual, but not in the game itself. It's also known as the darkest zone of reality, and it's home to monsters, demons, and beings of pure evil. Quan Chi is noted for his high intelligence, cold, calculated pragmatism, and propensity to manipulate and abuse susceptible individuals to advance his own goal. As Mortal Kombat is a very old game by now, and it's been resurrected and revamped many times for our pleasure, so naturally, just like the MCU, there are multiple timelines which can get a bit confusing. But don't worry, because I'm here to help you out. Let's look at Quan Chi's past from the original timeline first. He debuted in the main series with Mortal Kombat 4 in 1997 after making cameos in the action-adventure spin-off Mortal Kombat Mythologies, Sub-Zero, and the non-canon animated series Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm. The only known information about Quan Chi's history is that before learning magic, he was an Oni from the Netherrealm. He met Shinnok while in the Netherrealm, who was being tortured by Lucifer, the realm's previous king. He helped the fallen elder god defeat his tormentor in return for power and a spot by Shinnok's side, and then he helped Shinnok ascend to become the new king of the Netherrealm. After they had won, Shinnok kept his word, giving Quan Chi great power and elevating him to the position of Sorcerer of the Netherrealm. After Goro defeated the great Kung Lao, Shang Tsung seized control of his soul and discovered where Shinnok's long-lost amulet was. Later, Tsung exchanged this knowledge with Quan Chi. In exchange, Quan Chi would aid in Sindel's recovery, allowing Shao Kahn to eventually seize control of Earthrealm. Shao Kahn's invasion failed, but it provided Quan Chi with the chance to move. The Sorcerer struck a deal with Lin Kuei shortly after learning this knowledge, which was before the impending Mortal Kombat competition. He would eliminate their rival clan, the Shirai Ryu, in return for one of their warriors' help. The senior Sub-Zero was persuaded to get the amulet for Quan Chi. Sub-Zero did so, not knowing Quan Chi's intentions, and killed Hanzo Hasashi in cold blood. After the Lin Kuei fighter took possession of the amulet, Quan Chi claimed it and gave a history of its creation before departing to return the relic to Shinnok. Unbeknownst to the fallen elder god, Quan Chi had switched out the amulet for a pointless replica and retained the genuine item for himself. Soon later, with the aid of Serena, Sub-Zero, who had been given the go-ahead by Raiden to retrieve the amulet, went up against Quan Chi and momentarily vanquished him. In the following years, Quan Chi would lead the Brotherhood of Shadow Cult while also helping Shinnok prepare for his impending attack. During the period of Mortal Kombat Gold, the mortal worlds would be invaded. Quan Chi told the Ninja Spectre that the younger brother of the original Sub-Zero, who had since been annihilated by Scorpion, had slaughtered his family and clan, allowing him access to the outside worlds once more. Scorpion's wrath enabled him to overpower the Lin Kuei fighter, but just as he was about to kill him off, Quan Chi emerged and exposed himself as the murderer. Scorpion, enraged, seized him as the sorcerer moved to send the ninja to the Netherrealm, and both of them were taken back to the depths. Quan Chi was tormented by Scorpion in the Netherrealm until the Oni Dramin and Moloch discovered them. In exchange for the Oni's protection from Scorpion, Quan Chi pledged to take them back with him when he ultimately departed the Netherrealm. However, he escaped without them after discovering a gateway leading to Outworld, leaving them determined to eliminate him. The gateway led Quan Chi to the tomb of the long-forgotten Dragon King's mummified remains. Quan Chi concluded the army was unstoppable and could be resurrected after reading the words on the king's tomb. He went Shang Tsung Palace with a vision of the person who might help him achieve his goals. However, the sorcerer was still vulnerable to Scorpion. The Spectre had chased him into Outworld, where they had a fierce battle, drawing Shang Tsung's attention. Quan Chi presented his plan to Tsung, momentarily dispatching Scorpion and impressing him. Quan Chi would create a soulnado to the sky, gifting Tsung with endless souls, and Tsung would help him resurrect the Dragon King's army. They would establish the Deadly Alliance and set out to gain total dominance over all lands. But before they could carry out their plans, they needed to destroy the only two persons who could stand in their way. They began with Shao Kahn, the current king of Outworld, still weakened from his failed invasion of Earthrealm and fighting a war against Edenian Shokan troops. Tsung presented Quan Chi to Kahn, and they falsely promised their fealty. They then launched an attack, murdering Kahn, who was actually a clone, which they had no way of knowing. Kano, Kahn's acting general who saw the murder, vowed his support for them. Soon after, they traveled to Earthrealm's Wuxi Academy, where Mortal Kombat champion Liu Kang was practicing, using a gateway known only to sorcerers and deities. Tsung crept up on and battled Kang while posing as Kung Lao. Quan Chi hit Kang from behind with a skull fireball, catching him off guard and weakening him. Tsung took advantage of the situation to shatter his old foe's neck and devour his soul. Returning to Outworld, the Deadly Alliance sent Kano's forces to compel a tiny Outworld town to build a new palace around Soulnado's grave. When one of the inhabitants, Li Mei, attacked Kano, they promised to liberate her village in exchange for winning a tournament. They approached Movado at the same time, offering him a bargain as well. He could win the opportunity to fight and kill Kano in return for removing Kenshi, an old adversary of Tsung's who had recently been spying on him. Tsung had made a side agreement with Dramin and Moloch, who had just escaped from the Netherrealm as well. After his part of the conspiracy was accomplished and the army restored, Tsung would let the two get their revenge on Quan Chi. Meanwhile, Movado, who had terminally wounded Kenshi, had completed his task and the alliance had given him his request. Li Mei claimed her reward after winning the local tournament, but her spirit was instead transferred to a mummified soldier of Onaga's army. The troops of Earthrealm, headed by Raiden, were assaulted at this time. Their assault was futile, since they were all murdered by the sorcerers and their Tarkatan hordes. Kitana was personally defeated and murdered by Quan Chi. Only Raiden was left, and the Alliance met him before the Soulnado. They beat him, but their triumph was fleeting. Quan Chi had his own doubts about Tsung, about the fact that his comrade desired Shinnok's amulet for himself. Well, he was right. They turned on each other once they had slain all of their opponents. Quan Chi triumphed, but he couldn't enjoy his victory since Onaga, the freshly revived Dragon King, entered the room. Tsung and Raiden both awoke, and the three sought to stop him together. In desperation, Raiden unleashed his essence in an explosion that annihilated everything in its path. Yet Onaga emerged from the rubble unscathed and in possession of the amulet. Quan Chi appears next during the intro title video for the 2004 game Mortal Kombat Deception. Quan Chi can be seen screaming and questioning Raiden as he prepares his essence explosion, and just before Raiden releases it, Quan Chi can be seen making a quick escape just seconds before the massive explosion destroys everything except the Dragon King. Because of this, there is considerable conjecture that Quan Chi opened a portal or teleported before the catastrophic blast. How he escaped, though, remains unknown. In Mortal Kombat Armageddon, Quan Chi is shown to have returned, most likely with the assistance of Shinnok and with the amulet once again, and now desires to obtain the ultimate godlike power provided by conquering the elemental blaze. In order to do this, he had forged an uneasy and wary alliance with fellow villains Shang Tsung, Shao Kahn, and Onaga. He realizes the worlds are on the verge of devastation, so he throws a lethal spell on Orin, Taven's guardian dragon, seriously hurting him in order to prevent him from putting a stop to his schemes. But just as Quan Chi is about to execute Kenshi, his alliance breaks down, and he's pushed over the Pyramid of Argus by Shang Tsung, disguised as Ermac. His body is discovered halfway up the pyramid steps. That's where the original story arc ends of Quan Chi. However, he was seen making a cameo appearance in the story mode of the game Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe, which was released in 2008. The timeline was reset from Mortal Kombat 9, released in 2011. According to the new or current timeline, Sindel, the former queen of Edenia, was forced to marry Shao Kahn when her kingdom was overrun. She quickly ran into Quan Chi, who accused her of distracting the Khan. Because she constituted a threat to Shinnok, he killed her. Quan Chi said that Sindel committed suicide, betraying Shao Kahn and creating a magical ward over Earthrealm, preventing Kahn from invading it. In actuality, following Sindel's death, Quan Chi established a magical ward over Earthrealm to carry out the plot to assassinate Shao Kahn. Shiva became suspicious of Quan Chi's role in Sindel's killing, but could not gather evidence to prosecute him. As the narrative in the game begins, we see that Quan Chi controls Scorpion throughout the inaugural Mortal Kombat tournament. When Scorpion demands to confront the older Sub-Zero, Quan Chi instructs him to keep his cool. Scorpion ultimately achieves his goal as he beats Sub-Zero while in the Netherrealm. On the other hand, Scorpion was not going to murder Sub-Zero because of what Raiden had spoken to him before. Recognizing this, Quan Chi sends Scorpion fabricated photos of Sub-Zero slaying Shirai Ryu and Scorpion's wife and child. Scorpion, enraged, murders Sub-Zero and returns his skeleton to the competition. Quan Chi finally resurrects Sub-Zero the Elder and transforms him into Noob Saibot. Quan Chi faces off in the second Mortal Kombat competition against Shao Kahn and Shang Tsung. Following Reptile's defeat by the younger Sub-Zero, the Scorpion is summoned from the Netherrealm by Quan Chi at Shao Kahn's behest. Later in the contest, Quan Chi and Shang Tsung team together to take on Kung Lao, but both sorcerers lose. When Liu Kang severely wounds Shao Kahn, Quan Chi utilizes his wizardry to cure him. In addition, he gives Shao Kahn a new means to connect the Outworld and the Earthrealm by resurrecting and corrupting Queen Sindel. Earthrealm was no longer shielded by Sindel's suicide spell, created by Quan Chi after his resurrection. Quan Chi is seen in Shao Kahn's throne room during the invasion of Earthrealm when Mileena returns from Earthrealm with Motaro's body. Shao Kahn sacrificed Shang Tsung to increase Sindel's strength, and he observes Cabal's struggle with Noob Saibot and Mileena. Shao Kahn instructs Quan Chi to block the gateway to Earthrealm that Mileena came through after Cabal wins, but Cabal flees before the portal can be closed. Later, Quan Chi attempts to make a Solnado. He is halted in his tracks by Nightwolf, who overcomes him in a fight and finally knocks Noob Saibot into the Solnado, killing it. Quan Chi then returns to the Netherrealm. After Sindel slaughters most of the Earthrealm troops, Raiden travels to the Netherrealm to request Quan Chi's assistance. Raiden even offers the souls of all fallen Earthrealm soldiers and any future fallen souls, including his own. On the other hand, Quan Chi claims that Shao Kahn has already given him the souls of the fallen warriors, demonstrating this by raising zombie versions of Nightwolf, Curtis Stryker, Katana, Sindel, Kung Lao, Cyber Sub-Zero, Jade, Jax Briggs, Smoke, and Cabal. He commands several of these zombie soldiers to assault Raiden. Once Raiden defeats these undead warriors, Quan Chi warns Raiden that Shao Kahn will soon come to the Earthrealm to unite it with the Outworld. He unwittingly hands Raiden the secret to defeating Shao Kahn as a consequence. If Kahn is permitted to merge the worlds, the Elder Gods will eventually intervene and destroy him for violating the Mortal Kombat laws. Raiden thanked Quan Chi and teleported to Earthrealm. After Shao Kahn is defeated by Raiden and the Elder Gods, Quan Chi travels to Earthrealm and examines the charred remains of Shao Kahn's helmet. Quan Chi has been acting under Shinnok's direction the entire time, it is revealed here. Shinnok is praised by Quan Chi, who claims that his plan was perfect. He expresses concern about Raiden's survival at the same time. It doesn't matter, according to Shinnok, for neither the Earthrealm nor the Outworld can stave off the Netherrealm's assault. Soon, Shinnok will be freed, and both the Earthrealm and the Outworld will be subjugated by the Netherrealm. Before Mortal Kombat X, the video game was released. A comic book series of the same name came out, which explained Quan Chi's story arc adequately. So let's take a look at that before we jump into the next game. Quan Chi makes her series debut when she confronts a distraught Shirai Ryu in the Netherrealm following the death of Hanzo Hasashi by the cryomancer Sub-Zero. When Hanzo can only shout out to his family in response to Quan Chi's question about why the fires of the Netherrealm did not burn him, Quan Chi becomes even more perplexed. Quan Chi draws Hanzo to him with his power, imbuing him with the hellfire of the Netherrealm while promising Hanzo revenge and retribution for his tribe and family. The injection was effective, much to the satisfaction of the Black Sorcerer, and the Wraith Scorpion was created. Quan Chi was present as Scorpion exacts his vengeance on Bi-Han, who pleaded his innocence even as he was being burned alive, and fought with Scorpion in the Mortal Kombat tournament against Liu Kang. When Shao Kahn adopted Reiko and named him his most vicious general, Quan Chi was present. Quan Chi talked with Shinnok after Kahn was killed by the Elder Gods. The Sorcerer and the fallen deity had no idea they were being watched by an outraged Reiko. As the Netherrealm War began, Quan Chi recognized that the synthetic Sub-Zero still had a soul and enlisted the help of his revenants, Smoke and Jax, to keep Sub-Zero in place. When Sub-Zero expressed surprise at his friend's behavior, Quan Chi stated that his soul belonged to the Netherrealm and referred to him as his puppet. Quan Chi destroys Sub-Cybernetic Zero's body with his black magic, claiming that he doesn't trust technology and prefers the customs of blood and sorcery. Quan Chi then resurrects Kuai Liang as one of his revenants, restoring what little of his human body remained. Quan Chi's citadel was attacked by special forces in the last hours of the Netherrealm War, with the Necromancer himself under attack by Sonya Blade. At the same time, Raiden utilized his divine might to release Scorpion, Jax Briggs, and Sub-Zero from Quan Chi's servitude, resurrecting them in the process. Quan Chi went into hiding deep beneath the Netherrealm after the Netherrealm War, ultimately forming an alliance with the Priest of Chaos, Havik. In return for Havik delivering Shinnok's amulet to Quan Chi, breaking Raiden and the Elder God's seal on the relic, allowing the Sorcerer to liberate his master, Quan Chi agreed to give Havik access to Nitara's blood magic, enabling the cleric to corrupt the Kamidogu that contained the amulet. Havik, on the other hand, betrayed Quan Chi and sought to use the amulet to spread havoc throughout the realms, even attempting to destroy the Netherrealm itself, only to have his intentions foiled by Quan Chi's old servant Scorpion, killing him and hurling his still living head into the Netherrealm. Havik's head was presented to Quan Chi by his assistants Moloch and Dramin. The Chaos Priest was killed as Quan Chi crushed his head beneath his foot while he boasted that the kingdoms would soon descend into chaos. Because Havik had violated their contract, Quan Chi was furious with his Oni minions and dispatched Kitana to sever Moloch's head. When Dramin begged for his life and reaffirmed that he had never betrayed Quan Chi as his primary torturer, Quan Chi became enraged and declared that he would sell 1,000 Dramins for one Hanzo Hasashi. Then Quan Chi killed him with magic and turned him into a skeleton. Quan Chi declared that the Netherrealm could not afford such failures, while Shinnok was still confined, crushing Dramin's bones beneath his heel. Quan Chi regained control and turned to face Liu Kang and Kung Lao's reappearing revenants. Quan Chi said that although their strategy had failed, Shinnok's amulet was still visible since it was no longer locked to Kamidogu. After Havik's rampage, both Earthrealm and Outworld were on high alert. Kung Lao advised Quan Chi that they should use deceit for the time being and turn to Devourer, Shinnok's newest follower. The story arc continues in Mortal Kombat X, the video game. Quan Chi first appears commanding an army of Netherrealm demons against Raiden's Sky Temple. The Sorcerer conjures revenant versions of Cabal, Sindel, and Striker to assault Raiden and Fujin, but they are repulsed. Shinnok eventually appears outside the Jinsei chamber, attempting to contaminate its life force. On the other hand, Raiden successfully imprisons Shinnok with his own amulet, leading Quan Chi to flee to the Netherrealm. Johnny Cage, Sonya Blade, and a battalion of Special Force soldiers confront him in his own lair some years later. In reaction, he summons the undead Jax, Sub-Zero, and Scorpion to fight with him. Quan Chi nearly kills Johnny Cage and adds him to his ranks thanks to Jax, but Raiden intervenes. While the Thunder God struggles to subdue Quan Chi's black power, Sonya meets and defeats the Sorcerer in a fight. Consequently, the connection between Quan Chi and Johnny Cage is broken, allowing Raiden to undo the spell. As an unexpected consequence, he frees Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Jax from Quan Chi's captivity and returns them to human form. Quan Chi is compelled to run into hiding as a result of this. Later, it's learned that Devourer was a spy for Quan Chi. She was to remove the amulet from Kotal Khan and hand it over to Quan Chi immediately. When the Special Forces learn of this plot, they send a newly recovered Jax on a mission to the Netherrealm in the hopes of capturing Quan Chi and using his might to rescue the other realm soldiers who have been captured by him. Scorpion, who had discovered 5 years earlier that Quan Chi was accountable for the deaths of his family and clan, comes to the Special Forces camp where Quan Chi is being held to murder the Sorcerer himself and finally exact his vengeance. Scorpion instructs his ninjas to strike when the Special Forces refuse to hand him over. The Shirai Ryu successfully subdued the Special Forces after a fierce battle, allowing Scorpion to pursue Quan Chi. D'Vorah appears with Shinnok's amulet and rushes to Quan Chi's aid after Scorpion beats the Sorcerer within inches of his life. She ultimately fails as Scorpion viciously decapitates Quan Chi, but not before she hands over the amulet to the Sorcerer, letting him finally liberate Shinnok from his imprisonment. Quan Chi's appearances in other media. Quan Chi made his Mortal Kombat series debut as an independent sorcerer looking for a magical stone with evil powers until his intentions are halted by the Earthrealm heroes in one episode of the 1996 animated series Mortal Kombat: Defenders of the Realm, where he was voiced by Nick Chinland. Adoni Maropis portrayed Quan Chi in 4 episodes of Mortal Kombat Conquest 1999. His responsibilities included conniving with Shang Tsung to destroy the series' key characters Sairo, Taja, and Kung Lao. At the same time, Shao Kahn is killed in one episode by Shang Tsung, who poses as Quan Chi. Quan Chi appears briefly at the end of a 2-part episode starring Sub-Zero and Scorpion in the 2011 online series Mortal Kombat Legacy. Under the guise of Bihan, Sub-Zero, he murders Hanzo Hasashi's family, then resurrects Hanzo as an undead specter and promises him vengeance against Sub-Zero in exchange for his assistance. And lastly, in Mortal Kombat Legends: Scorpion's Revenge, released in 2020, Quan Chi, voiced by Darren DePaul, is one of the 2 primary antagonists of Shang Tsung, who resurrects Hanzo Hasashi to transform him and utilizes him as his servant for forever. What makes Quan Chi so deadly? Quan Chi has the appearance of a tall, well-built guy with red eyes. His absolutely white complexion is one of his distinguishing characteristics. He's also absolutely hairless, with no hair on his head or face. There looks to be a tilak on his brow. For his first appearance, he donned a thick green outfit with spike-studded black armor and a yin-yang symbol. It seems regal, and he utilizes it for formal occasions. He has lost some of his garments during his escape from Scorpion in the Netherrealm, leaving him with half of his armor and new black gloves. His body is otherwise naked. Later, he magically carved the inscriptions of the Dragon King's army onto his body, which became tattoos. He now wears the genuine Shinnok amulet on his belt. Quan Chi's Deadly Alliance attire appears to be a favorite of the Mortal Kombat crew, since he appears in every game published after Deadly Alliance, even titles that chronologically predate it. Quan Chi is renowned in the Netherrealm as the most formidable wizard ever seen after mastering magic. Despite being a powerful combatant, his powers in sorcery and magic much transcend his fighting capabilities. He's a necromantic master, able to reanimate the dead into his service and even revive the fallen in any way he sees fit. He can also freely traverse the worlds using portals that he may conjure at whim. He's also capable of connecting soul currents to these gateways. Quan Chi, like Shang Tsung, can soul steal and form change, but he can also retrieve the souls of warriors who perished in various ways. Quan Chi may even construct counterfeit clones of himself to deceive his foes into committing suicide. He can even transfer his awareness into other dimensions to monitor events and converse with operatives he has placed there. His different abilities include conjuration, illusion, and alteration spells, which he can use at leisure. Quan Chi is also a master manipulator, since he can easily lead his victims to their own demise with false promises rather than utilizing his magic to harm them. He also appears to routinely acquire powerful artifacts and unexplained abnormalities that might improve his powers or promote his own purpose. Shinnok's amulet, the living weapon, Onaga's zombie army, the immortal skull put on Quan Chi's armor in Mortal Kombat X, his fortress, and other relics are among them. One of Quan Chi's trademark signature moves is his flaming green skull, where he launches a green magical energy skull towards his opponent. In Mortal Kombat 2011, this is known as Skull Ball. In Mortal Kombat X, this is known as Skull and is launched from his head rather than his hands. It can also be done in the air, which is known as Air Skull and follows a downwards path. He also has a bunch of fatalities, but his original fatality, as per Mortal Kombat 4, is called Fatality Steel, where, you guessed it, Quan Chi copies his opponent's alternate fatality. Another famous fatality of Quan Chi is leg beatdown. Quan Chi snatches one of his opponent's legs, rips it off, and then beats the unfortunate victim to death with the severed limb. In Mortal Kombat 2011, this was changed a bit. Quan Chi hits the opponent's skull twice, forcing it to burst, then proceeds to beat the remainder of the body with the victim's severed leg. Boy, don't you just love Mortal Kombat. Marvelous verdict. Fighting games like Mortal Kombat are highly regarded for impacting how gaming, especially fighting games, are seen as a whole, and we know a game is as good as its villain. Quan Chi is one of the main villains of Mortal Kombat, along with Shinnok. The most exciting aspect of Quan Chi is his connection to Scorpion and Sub-Zero's origin narratives. Aside from that, he serves as a punching bag for the heroes. He's continually failing, and despite his chilly and ominous voice, Quan Chi isn't really intimidating. However, he claims strength through his ability to generate formidable undead fighters called Revenants, including Sub-Zero, Scorpion, and other well-known figures. The revamp of his character was much needed, and I believe it was successfully done in Mortal Kombat 2011, allowing Quan Chi to regain some of his respect. Many of Quan Chi's actions have contributed to the overall narrative of the franchise. That's because he's easily the most talented manipulator in the series, even dethroning Shao Kahn himself. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.
The mighty gods of Earthrealm.
You be